What do you do for work?
I actually work for the electric company.
You work for Tico?
Yeah.
We're kind of in competition, but not quite, because you guys are monopoly, so you're taking over most of it, but I got to know a good amount about Tico. Hi there. Welcome to Real Sales Dynamics, where we break down in-field sales footage in order to get you better at door knocking. Right now, we're actually gonna go back in time to the beginning of the day when I went out to a set. Yes, a set that I actually didn't set myself. Shocking. But more importantly, you're gonna see us go from selling a lease to a customer, switching them over to a loan because of complications. Then the next guy, well, he actually works for the utilities here. So you're just gonna have to stay tuned to see what happened with that one.
You can meet him at the front door.
Front door? Okay, got it. Thank you. Hey. Hey, Neil?
Yeah.
Hey, good to meet you. Carlos. I'm with Garrett today. There you go.
Hey, what's going on?
Good to meet you.
All right.
So had you looked, I was chatting with Ben a little bit, just so I'm not going over the stuff he already talked to you about. How did he kind of explain the, all good. Have you guys looked into solar before?
No, not seriously.
So the first thing I need to do actually is step back outside, because I'm just going to fly my drone over so we can do a quick inspection on the roof.
Yeah,
Pretty new.
Yeah.
How was the construction build? Have you run into any leaks, any other issues like that?
No issues with leaks.
Okay, fantastic. That's the thing about those new model homes. You never quite know what you're going to get until you start talking to some of the other folks out here. And of all the neighbors, I haven't run into a single issue with the construction company.
I would had 200, 212.
200 to 12. And then it looks like your breaker box and everything's all in here.
In the garage?
Yeah. I see it. That's why I know it's there. There's very few houses I've been to where we use our garages for actual cars. It's mostly just for stuff.
You don't fish at all, do you?
It's high, but the tide starts to change at about 4.
Oh, okay.
So
Let's go check the breaking. We're going to be interrupting this broadcast for just one moment because, guys, we did it. Since we started this channel, I've been getting submissions for the last couple years trying to get an installer who actually works in Miami. The problem is that it's been taking 3 to 6 months in order to get installations there. Not anymore. You see, we've cracked the code. We found an installation company who can manage to get installs in Miami Gardens in 3 weeks, and then you get paid, most importantly. Of course, while taking care of the people in those lovely communities. If you're interested, if you're in those areas, if you're a trained closer, most importantly, click down in the submission form below. Let us know that you're in South Florida and that you need our help. We are there to help you guys out. So we can make our way back in. I just got to toss a bunch of information into the system. You guys have been dealing with higher electricity bills? Is it because you have some friends who want solar?
no, he just contacted me.
Okay.
He got it. We're doing this program, blah, blah, blah. So, all right, I'll listen.
But basically, if you take a look at your utility bill, your bill was $300. 68 and 68 of that was about 100 and what is that? 60 bucks of that. It was just electricity. The rest of it is all these fuel charges, right, which have been going up significantly. Then you have this thing over here, it's called the Clean Energy Transition Mechanism, which is $8. And then this fuel charge is the part that's just kind of skyrocketed. Because what happened was, back in 2019, do you remember when they switched Big Ben over from, no? Okay.
I don't pay attention to that shit.
Okay, that's fair. I do, because it's my industry, so it makes sense. So what they did was they switched from coal to natural gas. And
We're
so
still using coal?
we were up until 2019.
Are you kidding me?
No, and we still actually are, by the way, right now from Georgia. And yeah.
We're buying coal from Georgia?
Yeah.
What are we in the dark ages?
I'm with you, right? And now I'm trying to bring the sun out, right? And so, but the assumption is that you're going to use roughly 16,200 kilowatts a year for your power, right? If we times that by what they're charging right now, 99 cents, we divide that up by 12. The number that they've gotten to is based off of this and the rate increases we're having, is that in the next year, your average bill is going to be about $268 for what you're going to spend for electricity. So suddenly out of nowhere, I'm getting a lot of calls from people who were telling me before, I don't want those other panels on my roof. to going, I care a lot more about my bank account than what's on my roof.
I don't think I read that.
Beautiful,
Yeah.
but yeah, but that's kind of been the ocean of it. So there's just so many different people that are now converting to solar. So what happens is that when we install the system, from 8 a.m. to 3 p.m., you're going to produce all the power you need in the day. You guys use your power like this throughout the whole day. So all the power you don't use goes to TECO, and then you get a credit back, and that covers you at nighttime. There's a couple ways that you can go solar for your house, right? You can spend cash on it. The problem is you're waiting 6 to 8 years to get a return on investment. You can finance it. The thing about financing though is that you're taking out a 25-year loan that's anywhere between $60,000 and $80,000 in most cases, right? Then the third option is what's called a lease or power purchase agreement. And so the way that works is, my Wi-Fi stinks right now. Do you have a Wi-Fi connected?
Yeah.
What's happening right now is we're dealing with, obviously, with all these rate increases all over the country. So the Department of Energy allocated out $3 billion to a company called Sonova. So they're the ones who do the power purchase agreements and leases.
Okay.
And so the way they work is you don't have to take out a loan, you don't have to pay anything up front as long as your home's eligible. Then we get that federal funding, so it covers the cost for the installation for your system, and then you just have a fixed rate for your power from now on. Now, I know
The equipment is owned by TECO or this company?
it's owned by Sonova, exactly. So they maintain, insure, and take care of the system, which is great because it also means you don't have to contact your insurance company, which is another thing that's been happening in Florida where people are calling their insurance company and they're going, well, do you own the system? Okay, well then you have to insure it. Then your insurance premiums go up, right? Or they'll bring up stuff like, are you going to be able to file the paperwork properly for the tax credit? Well, the tax credit's only as good as the amount of federal income taxes you're spending right now. So with this, we take the liability on the system, as in we're insuring it, maintaining it, and taking care of it, and you gain the asset of the cheaper power. Does that make sense?
Okay.
And then once they install it, it's really simple. Again, Sonova's, they're the guys inside of Home Depot, which is where most people know them from. They have funding directly from the feds. They take care of the full installation, and your first payment wouldn't be until after installation of the actual system.
So what's all this here?
No, that's places that could put panels.
They could.
They could. I'm not going to put panels on a flat roof though.
Right.
It makes no sense. So I turn off all the panels if that makes sense. So it's mostly on just these areas right here in the roof. There is a potential though, and I'll just let you know, where those that we have right there, we can actually fit into these areas. Now, you guys have an HOA here. We take care of the HOA requirement, which is they just require the architectural design. So we send that over to them. And so what we're looking at as far as the system is rather than $268, you're at $193.40 a month.
Okay.
So while all these rates and everything else go up, you're at $193 a month.
Sounds good to me.
Yeah.
That's all I'm on.
So I was able to get it approved with Goodleap, which is a little bit different. So the way it works with Goodleap is your monthly payment is still, was it $198 a month? Yeah, it's $196, excuse me. $196 a month. Now, what's going to happen is at the end of the year, you get a tax credit. What's important with that tax credit is that you put that money towards the system. Because some people just like to keep it. And they're like, is my payment going to go up? I'm like, yeah, because you're getting $14,960.
Okay.
Right? So as long as you put the tax credit towards the principal balance, then it's going to stay at that $196.
So, am I buying the system?
So yeah, so
With this one?
exactly. So the only way it can work with Goodleap, it used to be 22%, but then the Biden Inflation Act came out, and then it went from 22% to 30%. So from then on out, that's your monthly payment, and it's fixed. So it never, ever, ever goes up, and it's for 25 years. So it's fixed payment amount. They still insure, maintain, and take care of the system. They have a production guarantee on the system so that all your power needs are covered. It looks like we might overshoot the power needs a little bit, but that will make sure that you never have a TECO bill, because if you're using more power, then you still have a redundant bill. Does that make sense?
Okay.
Okay, so can you check your email real quick for me? So your payments are like this. So you get it's $198 a month. As long as you put the tax credit towards the principal balance, then your payment stays at $198. If we choose to keep the 30% tax credit, which is $14,532, which some people do, then the payment goes up to $283. So just put the payment towards the principal balance, and then your payment will go down. The main thing is that like Good Leap also works as a refinance company, so they might call you in the future if interest rates go lower to try to refi your house.
My house.
If you ever want to do that in the future, or you can just literally say no, and that's pretty simple. And then let me just grab that utility bill. Where was that guy at?
Utility bill?
Yeah.
You check my phone.
Oh, you're emailing it over. That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Got it. Okay. Any other questions?
No.
Yep. So I also texted you that. So we were just able to take care of Neil. I actually went in on the close to offer a lease because I'm pretty excited about it. We're now offering them in the state of Florida. So I had to kind of redirect all of my energy to go back from, okay, leases are great to loans are great. And by the end of the day, he ended up getting an amazing deal. We're gonna be taking care of him and it'll get installed in roughly about 9 days. Now, we're in a bit of a rush because I have another close about 40 minutes away and the close is in 40 minutes. So I'll see you there. Hi, this is Carlos, the solar representative. I just got over to your house. Marco mentioned to not knock because we didn't want to wake up the baby. Okay, thank you. Okay, bye. I'm trying to lay the baby back down. Give him 1 sec. Hi. Hey, Carlos, good to meet you. This is Garrett.
Right.
I understand you got the baby, so we'll try to be as quiet as possible. So basically, we just go over the numbers. I got to take a look at the electric panel and a couple other things. Have you guys looked into solar before?
We have
You have? Okay. What was the program that was offered at that?
Tesla.
It was Tesla? So was it for ownership? Like taking out a loan kind of a situation? Okay, great. So I'm going to take a look at the meter real quick. Is it on that side or this side? And is the whole electric panel, is that on that side, or is there a breaker in the inside the garage?
Breakers inside the garage.
Can you open that up for me by chance?
What are the numbers first before we can?
Oh, okay. So it just depends on which option you guys want to do, because obviously there's 3. You guys can spend cash on it, you could finance it, or what like 9 times out of 10 folks have been doing is what's called the power purchase agreement. So what happens is you don't have to take out a loan for the system, and it's generally about 50% less than what you're currently paying. Right, so that's how we kind of work on it.
Right,
when you were
like
looking at what were you looking at as far as the monthly on that loan?
Well, I'm trying to figure out what the monthly average is for people.
Well, usually, so if your average bill, let's say, is about $400, in general, your average would be right around about $180, is what you'd be spending instead of $400. 25 years.
25 years.
Yeah. So it just kind of depends on usage, and that's usually where we go from there.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm guessing that's less than what you were looking at with Tesla. Although, were you trying to get the backup battery?
No.
With it? Good, because you don't need it. They're really expensive.
Yeah.
And in a lot of cases, it's kind of overkill, because areas like this. How long have you lived here?
4 years.
You probably had 2 power outages?
About 2.
About 2, right? Okay, I figured as much. If you're in like Plant City, we'd get you a battery over there, because any single time it's too windy, they just kind of cut off the grid, and then in that case you need it. But in most cases over here, as long as the sun is bright enough in that area, it usually chops it down by about 50%. What had you guys looking into solar? Was it like a cost savings thing, equity thing?
Just with cost savings.
Yeah, no, I get that. And I promise, I'm sure you've sat with some of the solar guys, there's going to be something where it takes like 45 minutes to an hour. I respect your time. You just had a new, how old's the baby?
2 months old.
2 months old. So you're just trying to keep it quiet as much as possible. So it's just, and then to eat and just keeping it alive. They don't have much of personalities yet. It's just trying to keep them going. Is this your first one?
Yeah.
Okay, well, congrats, man.
Oh, thank you.
That's amazing. How long have you been out? You've owned this house for a couple years, but how long have you guys been out in Tampa?
Our whole life.
Your whole life?
Yeah.
Okay, well, that's fantastic. I'm over in Tampa Heights, but we had to drive from Ruskin, which is why it ended up taking as long.
Right.
I was like, 35 minutes easy. No, it was 1 hour and 10.
Yeah.
Like, it's just that traffic all on that bridge is horrific. So can we take a look at the breaker just to make sure that's a 200 amp and everything, and then I can get you guys the numbers and we'll find a way out.
Let me open the garage.
Okay, sounds good. Okay, handle that pretty well. Howdy. I wasn't sure if you were coming out this way or that way.
Yeah, the baby's room's like right next to it.
Oh, got
I'll
it.
take a picture of it.
Oh, nice.
50.
Okay. So it's 150 amp. Got it. Okay, that might work. Have you had any issues with the breaker going if you're using too much power somewhere?
No.
Might have it set up on your truck? Always been a truck guy?
Yeah.
Fair enough. So you're telling me you're not planning on buying an electric car anytime soon?
I've looked at the Teslas for my wife,
Yeah.
but I'm not sure yet.
Got it. Yeah.
They're nice, but
I autopiloted pretty much the whole drive, which was helpful for that. Reason why I ask is we always kind of do a little bit of a side evaluation. So if you guys are planning on using more electricity than you're currently using. What do you do for work?
I actually work for the electric company.
You work for Tico?
Yeah.
We're kind of in competition, but not quite because you guys are a monopoly, so you're taking over most of it. But I got to know a good amount about Tico.
Okay.
You ever heard of Sonova by chance?
No.
Okay, so you might not go to Home Depot that often. So they're the solar installers inside of there. They're the ones who kind of pioneered the non-loan program. But they got $3 billion in funding from the Department of Energy last week.
Oh, wow.
Which is pretty massive. And so that's why they kind of have that option so that you don't actually have to buy, like pay for a system up front or, do a loan program. So
T22 for 25 years.
for 25 years.
So what if you move? You still paying that?
So no. So the basic way it works is when you sell the house, do you think people are more likely to buy a smart house or a dumb house?
Smart house.
Smart house. So now you have a smart house. So whenever someone moves in, rather than them spending, let's say you sell the house in 5 years, rather than spending $440, they're spending $222. Right. So it's that fixed rate that's a huge impact on there that really makes people, or why people are getting solar lately, and why they're not honestly going with a lot of the loan options, because as interest rates, finance charges, all those things go up. These just kind of make sense. Right, so the setup is pretty simple. Yeah, that's roughly how it works. Now, obviously, your wife's not here right now listening in. What do you think? What are some questions you think she'd have?
Pretty much just the cost.
It's usually the main thing is let's do something to get rid of this bill already.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So that's what we're looking at as far as the system. We would just check for eligibility and then go over the paperwork that states everything I just stated right now. And then we would just set up for the site inspection. What days are generally better for you guys?
I'm off Friday. I work 4/10s, so I'm off every Friday.
You're off every Friday? Okay, we would set it. That's why we're meeting today. Okay, that's perfect. Yeah, and for eligibility, we would take a look at the driver's license, pop the information in, and then they'd let us know either way pretty quickly.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's like during outages during the day, we'd still have power, right?
No, that's not how it works. And you work for Tico. So, so when you have solar panels without battery backup, exactly, the system automatically turns off because you don't want to backfeed energy over to the grid. So the thing is that
It's not like a transfer switch for that. Turn off.
those transfer switches are actually pretty trash right now. We have them; they're $6,000, and I'm going to tell you, as soon as it hits shade, and you're using your refrigerator and something else at the same time, everything shuts off. Right? They're called it's called the sunlight backup switch. If you're going to get a battery, get a 20 kilowatt, do the full, go all the way with it.
Right.
But you're looking at an additional $120 a month for 25 years.
Not really
Just
worth it.
save the money and go to a nice hotel. You can get a really nice hotel for that amount of money. So, yeah, so for power outage cases, no. Other questions that folks ask us, there's no lien on the property, so it doesn't cause any hiccups whenever you try to sell the house.
Okay.
There's
I've heard of that happening before.
Well, yeah, especially on the loan.
Yeah.
So, because what happens is that loan is for the homeowner, which means that the new homeowner has to re-qualify for the loan. Well, you can qualify for a house at 600 credit, but you can't qualify for solar without 650. So next steps are just basically just put in the paperwork to see if we can get the eligibility taken care of with Sonova and get a site inspector out there.
Okay.
Yeah, does that sound fair?
Yeah.
Yeah. So you can grab your driver's license real quick.
All right. Let me grab it.
Unexpected twist.
Yeah, it's above.
Okay, cool. Because then they don't need the social. Whenever it's above it. So what does security look like for?
It's investigations, that type of stuff.
But you had to have had some crazy stories with that.
Yeah.
Like what?
Some of it I can't go into detail, but
Okay, the one that's not too juicy that you can.
can't really go into details of that stuff.
Man. Okay. So I was going to show you a basic math thing real quick. So it's $222.55. It does go up 2.9% per year. So what that looks like is year 1, year 2, year 3, 4, 5. 23, 24, 25. So after year 25, you're still paying less than what you're currently paying
Right.
for your electricity. So 0 upfront cost. For the system itself, there are a couple things that we have to keep in mind. One is they cover all of the insurance for the system. That's a big deal because with ownership, you actually have to call your insurance company and get them in charge, hold of everything. Their big thing is that if you ever get a re-roof on your roof, call them to move the panels. Don't have some roofer come by. And then secondly, there's been door knockers lately who are knocking to clean people's solar panels. They don't need to be cleaned. Don't have anyone touch the system. Like we take care of that as far as that's concerned. And for shading, you guys have a little bit, but just don't grow any new trees in front of the solar panels. This is all common sense stuff that you know, but I have to say. So once the system is fully operated and turned on, you will still receive a grid charge from TECO. So the lease term, we take care of everything for 25 years, maintenance, monitoring, and insurance. As far as the system size, it is a 13.77 kilowatt system that'll cover 103% of your current electricity.
Okay.
So we just needed your initials in this guy.
So this is signing up for it?
Yeah, to sign up for basically the work order so that we can get the inspectors out and then put in all the eligibility forms. And if in 2 weeks you guys decide that you really like TECO and that you want to keep paying their bills all the time, you can go ahead and do that.
So if we do decide that we don't want to go through with it, there's no fee with that?
No, until when we get to final, this is the main thing. When we get to final design, this portion, we're going to send you over the exact layout of the system, exactly where panels are going to go and everything else. That's going to be in about a week and a half. If you guys sign on that, then we're pulling permits, right? If we're pulling permits, then you're going to pay the permitting fee if and when at that point, if you guys decide to pull up for any weird reason. But if you guys decide to final design, no, I don't want to go ahead and do this, then we'll call it a day and that's it. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
If you initial on that guy.
Do I have to do this today? I want to talk to my wife about that.
Yeah, to set up for the site inspection and everything else.
Well, just to make sure she's okay with it and everything.
Got it. Okay, I know Fridays though are pretty much your only day off. Is there any chance, because coming out to this area, I'm normally in kind of Ruskin, St. Pete, and a bunch of other spots, and I have to do this particular thing in person. Is there any chance you could chat with her for a little bit?
Yeah, do you have any information showing the 224?
Yeah. Literally, I can go back and then, give me one sec. The one thing, and I know it sounds salesy, but honestly, the 6 months thing, the free 6 months, that's for this week. So if you can go chat with her, and we can pop back by here in about 15 minutes. Is that all right?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. That's for you, and I'll see you in a sec.
All right, sounds good.
So what we're doing right now is actually called a cool down. So the issue is his wife's inside the house with their baby. He met me 25 minutes ago, trying to get him to sign a 25-year contract. I've answered all of his objections. The real objection that he's worried about is his wife yelling at him. So what I did was I said, hey, this deal is only gonna be good for this week. Go back in your house, because I drove all the way out here in order to be here. And we're gonna figure out whether or not we want to do this in the next 15 minutes, yes or no. Went ahead and got confirmation with the wife to meet back in the morning to sign docs. Quick question for you guys before we leave. What do you guys think about the initial interaction? I thought it was a little awkward at first. What do you think of how I redirected him to get his emotions and start moving him? Leave a comment below. Click subscribe so you can see more videos like this. Very importantly as well, we are hiring literally everywhere. Importantly in Miami, as we already talked about earlier, as well as Tampa, Orlando, Jacksonville, all over the great state of Florida, as well as Texas and in California. So hit the submission form below and click one of these two videos. YouTube thinks you're gonna like it a lot.